Today we're sitting here with Derick Monroe. Derick is a local 798 member, a six-time Emmy nominated hairstylist, NAACP Image Award nominee, and the host, creator, and producer of Behind the Scenes Beauty. But beyond the titles, today's conversation is about his experience with grief after the transition of his mother, family members, and close friends. This episode is intentional, personal, and rooted in what it means to keep living while carrying grief, understanding that somehow the show must always go on. Now let's get into it. How you grieving?
What is the definition of grief?
Grief is it's broad. Let's look up the actual definition of grief because I want to give you my made up definition, but I want to give you, all right, deep sorrow, especially caused by someone's death.
Okay. So when you think about that, if I'm being honest, okay, so grief for me, let me explain to you some of my losses.
Mm-hmm.
So my mom died when I was 10 years old. So cut to I get in high school and a young lady that I've known since kindergarten, she was like the sort of chubby girl growing up in high school and all this, and she gets a boyfriend. She's so excited about this boyfriend. Like, I got a boyfriend. I'm calling him mine, blah, blah, blah. We come to school the next day. She literally sits behind me.
Yeah.
Young lady that I like. I hang out with her, her mom. Her mom used to come get me when she would get off her second shift job on a Friday night to go play spades. She's sitting behind me, and I come to school the next day. Her boyfriend has shot her in the head. Later from that, there were two young men that I grew up with in the community. We went to school together. One of them, we were two days apart as birthdays. They were cousins, and so we were very close. We worked at the same job. One of them is smoking weed one day. He grew up having asthma.
Yeah.
Smoking weed one day, goes into an asthma attack, and literally on their way to try to take him to get help to the rescue squad, he loses consciousness, loses brain activity. He's on life support for 3 days. They take him off. He passes. It makes me and the other cousin closer. Like, at 18 years old, we're intentional. We are like, I love you. I care about you.
Yeah.
Just being in the moment and letting it all be known, because we realize now that, like, life is fleeting. 4 years later, he dies in a car accident.
Oh my God.
I go to college. I go to cosmetology school. There's only two boys in the cosmetology class, me and this guy named Joey. Joey later becomes one of my closest friends. Joey sort of gets into this downward spiral of an addiction, goes missing for a minute, comes back around, and he's living with his brother. He calls me, he says, I'm coming home for Mother's Day. Can't wait to see you. We're going to hang out. I hadn't really had the chance to see him since he's sort of getting back on his feet.
Yeah.
He never calls. I never hear from him. So I'm sort of nervous because this goes back to activity that he had in the past of, like, sort of going ghost. So I'm getting a little nervous. On that Monday morning, I get a call from one of our mutual friends that says he also has died in a car accident. Um, my mom had three brothers. My mom had an older brother, a middle brother, and a younger brother. When my mom passed, her middle brother became my guardian. The older one was just like one that offered to take me, he offered to take me and raise me. I didn't want to go to DC. I was scared. I was young, so to me that was during the crack era when everybody was shooting and everything. DC was a different place, so I didn't want to move there. But I get a call one day. He's working. He worked for the city. He's on the back of a truck, and the truck pulls off, and he falls off, and the truck backs over him and doesn't realize it. He dies. My uncle, my mother's youngest brother, has two sons. The youngest son is just great, Josh. Come to find out, he has cancer. He dies at 21. So I'm very acquainted with grief, but I also think after a while there becomes this numbness you.
Yes.
So sometimes when people ask me about grief, I don't know. I don't know if I've ever can't explain. I don't know if I've ever
If it
necessarily, went there. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, is I don't know. I don't know if I've actually grieved. I don't remember a time of going into
into
these
like
deep
sad mode.
sorrows.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and I can only say, but for the grace of God, because when I tell these things, it seems like I should. But go ahead. What were you gonna
Not
say?
necessarily. But okay, so how you grieving, right?
Right.
That's the main question. And what I think is because I've experienced this myself. When the main person is gone, it's easier to become numb and it's easier to grieve like in silence.
Yeah.
So like your mom, where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Virginia.
In Virginia?
So a
Okay.
small town in Virginia. The name of the town is called Hurt, Virginia. Most people, we were like 20 minutes from the city of Lynchburg, which most people know because of Liberty University, Jerry Falwell, all of that stuff. So
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, I feel like once you lose that main person, it's acceptable for everyone else to pass as well.
yes,
At least that's what I can say on my end, um, because I've experienced a lot of passing before my sister died and after my sister died. But that was the only one that caused me to be like, oh shit, this is real,
yeah,
you know? And now when people pass, I'm just like, okay, all
yeah,
right,
same,
go on to glory. You know what I mean? Um,
same. Can I also say I tend to my best friend knows this. People that are close to me knows it's almost like depending on how you pass, if you carry on about someone in your life that passed and you had a moment to make peace with it,
yeah,
I tend to have a sense of, I don't really know what to call it, but it irritates me. I'm irritated because every person in my life was taken suddenly. My
yeah,
mom had a massive heart attack. My mom literally was the day, like it's a Sunday morning. And my mom is like, hey, call the neighbor. And she says to us, I'm 10 years old. She says, I have an older brother, he's 15 at this time. And she says, all my important papers are in this drawer. She literally leaves the house, and we have one of our friends that grew up with us says to us, hey, sorry to hear about your mom. And we're like, what are you talking about? It's like, we heard your mom passed away. We're like, no, she literally just went to the hospital.
yeah.
She's fine. Like, she's okay. Probably 2 minutes after that, our driveway floods with cars because it's the neighbors, it's the cousins, it's all the people that know that she's passed.
Before you,
And yeah. And so all those other people besides my cousin Josh were people that just were like here today, gone tomorrow. Like even more recently, the uncle that raised me 2 years ago while I was in LA I had got nominated for an NAACP Image Award.
wow,
And they had a luncheon and I was there that morning. The luncheon was on Saturday. It's Sunday morning. They called me. They said, hey, pray for your uncle. We had to rush him to the hospital. He had some situation. They think it might have been a heart attack or whatever. So I'm like, okay. So I'm in the hotel. They call me back and they say, he's okay. My other uncle says, I just talked to him. He's okay. Sounds pretty good. I
yeah,
literally go on with the rest of the day and they text me and said he's gone. And I didn't call because I'm figuring he's resting. I'm hearing all the information back. So it was just like I'll call him. I'll call him later.
yeah.
And there it goes again. This So I don't know if I just stay in shock so much that You know what I'm saying? That I don't know if I ever get the chance to grieve, you know? So
Think
it's interesting.
I think that is your grieving. I think that's your grief. I think your shock, your possible acceptance to it all, I think that's your grief. Not necessarily like sorrow and sadness though. Like
Yeah.
you know how to deal with it already.
Yeah.
I had
I
this
think I've also gotten into a space where I was, I don't know if you, well, of course, I don't know if you know this, but I was a minister for a little while. So there was this whole me and God moment when I
Mhm.
was like 19 years old,
Yeah,
where I really like went in depth of me and like realizing that if I'm going to grow, there are some things that I have to confront, and not everything that I come away with a complete answer to, but on loss, the fact is that we are all going to die.
yes.
Um, it gave me new meaning to living life on purpose, making sure that what I put out every day, if it's nothing else but a call to somebody that when I think about them to just say, hey, thought about you, just want you to know I'm praying for you. Whatever it is, what little good energy, whatever good spirit, whatever blessing I can try to be to somebody, I do intentionally now because of that. Um, because of those losses, I learned that I have to live for them. Like I always think about my 21-year-old cousin who did not get to, you know what I'm saying? So when there become these opportunities and it's like, should I do it? Should I not? Why not? Life is short. I have no other choice. I have to do it because guess what? If they had the opportunity to do it, maybe they would take that chance.
Maybe they would have,
I
yeah.
cannot afford not to live. Yeah. So, yeah.
I understand that. Like, okay, so my sister passed at 38. So I'm 37 in like 3 days or 2 days.
Happy
So
birthday.
thank you. So I'm getting to that age where like I'm like, damn, like, am I gonna make it past 38? And if I do, it's like, wow, you know, she didn't make it past 38, but I made it, so I still gotta keep living. So I understand that. Hi, thank you for listening to How You Grievin'. Thank you for watching How You Grievin'. Also, why haven't you subscribed yet? Why haven't you liked this episode? Why haven't you commented on this episode? And why haven't you shared it yet? What are you doing? You ain't got nothing else to do. Gas prices is high, so you need to be in the house, and food costs too goddamn much for you to be outside parlaying. So you need to be in the house cooking. And while you're doing that, you could be watching this episode and clicking and doing something. Okay? Thank you for watching. I love you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Melissa.
And I'm Athena.
And we are the proud owners of Lip Lock LLC. You can follow us on Instagram. We just are so proud and honored to be a sponsor for the My Black Selves, How You Grievin' podcast. And just remember, you can follow him on TikTok and on Instagram and on YouTube. Make sure you like, share, and comment.
And subscribe.
And just know that even though you are grieving, you have a place to reach out to talk to somebody, and we are so proud of you.
Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Creative, the CEO of Easton Creative Agency, and I'm super proud that I am able to sponsor How You Grievin', the podcast by Malcolm, My Black Self. It has been a wonderful process with him. I actually just did a show with him. Make sure you guys support, share, and repost, as his podcast is something that is all about healing. We're proud to sponsor. Easton Creative Agency is very proud. See y'all later.
I want you to pick a number between 1 and 47.
Oh my God. 26.
26. Okay, this is a good one. What now this can be about any of the people we just discussed. What was their favorite saying or phrase?
Oh my God. Their favorite saying or phrase. Okay, well, you know what? Okay. She was not in the people that I talked about. That's how much loss. It's a lot. Um, so also adjacent to me and from my house was a cousin that I grew up with. She was an older lady. She's my cousin, but she was like the age of an aunt.
Yeah.
And so she was one of those people that was instrumental in the whole me being on my own. I was on my own officially at 14. So
Okay.
it was just, so I was living with just me and my 18-year-old brother. But my
Wow.
brother doesn't have a job, so I'm paying the bills because I'm paying it off of my Social Security. So I asked to live with her because she was next door, and this way I could stay going to my same school so my life doesn't get disrupted.
Okay.
And so so anyway, she passes later. Like she gets old and passes. But she's the only one that I can think of that had a phrase when you asked me that. And it was two of my cousin aunts. Her phrase was, "You do to suit yourself." When she felt like you were not hearing her, you know what? Do to suit yourself. That was her favorite. And then I had an aunt that I was super close with. Her nickname, my aunts and them, they didn't go by their names. They all had these nicknames. Hers was called Big Bay,
Big
which
Bay.
Big Bay. She was a heavier woman, so everybody called her Big Bay.
Yeah.
And her favorite saying was, "And you don't mean it." Like whenever she was having a conversation with somebody, you'd be telling something, she'd be like, "You don't mean it." And so those are two catchphrases.
I
Other
have
people I don't know about their catchphrases, but those two were the two catchphrases that I know.
those are some good ones. I've never heard those. And you don't
Yes.
I like that.
You don't mean it and do to suit yourself.
Do
Even
this.
to the point my best friend, he knows her. He'll be like, "You so much like her. Do to suit yourself."
I feel like if I tell my aunt that one, she gonna use it. I ain't
You
telling that
you
one.
should tell her. You should tell her. It's a good one. It's when you tired of telling people stuff over and over and they don't listen. Look, do to suit yourself. I ain't got
So
time.
that's good.
Yes.
Um, do you think they? I don't want to point one person out because we went through a lot of folks that have left in your land. But do you think they completed their life's assignment?
Do I feel like they completed their life's assignment?
Hmm.
The younger ones tend not to. It's such an interesting dynamic question, actually. I'm one of those people that really believe that there are some things in life we know, and certain things in life we will experience and we'll never know. And there's a beauty to the unknown. I think we live in a world where everybody wants you to have an answer. And I look at it two ways. I look at it in a way that if God really wanted them to be here, if they hadn't, if there was still something for them to do, they would.
Yeah.
And on another angle, I think, well, you know, maybe to some degree, some of them took life for granted, and didn't seize the days. So, so yes, it can go two ways. And I don't know if I have a definitive answer on either, but I'm okay with not.
I like that. I like that. I enjoy, which is probably crazy, but I like the unknown. Um, it's something about it that's just like you'll never know.
Yeah.
Like you'll never know.
You'll never know. You will know, but it'll be at a time that, you know what I'm saying? For me, in a person that believes that at the end of life, you'll get a greater answer. So I feel like I'll know then, but at this present point, I don't, there are some things that I just don't know. And I guess I'm okay with that.
So I kind of want to ask you, how has all of these experiences you've had, how does this show up in your like every day, or like the artsy part of you or the hairstyle part of you, or the professional part? How does this show up in your world, or does it show up in your world?
It shows up every day. So it shows up in my beginning part of my morning in a gratitude space. That it's
Yeah.
another day that I get to see. So that's the first part. Um, in my hair care career, um, or my career in general, a lot of the chances that I have taken goes back to when I was saying, you have these moments that you wonder if you should do it. If something was to happen to me, I always tell people next to me or close to me, please, we cannot have a sad funeral for me because I feel like I have lived. When I tell you
Yeah.
life for me, now there has been some, oh my God, some dark days. Oh my God, some dark days. But that comes with life. And so the good days really have been amazing days. Like I'm a little country boy that lived in this secluded space, growing up watching television, thinking about that world, feeling a connection to that world, not knowing that I would be in that world.
Yeah.
That people that I've admired would be people that I would know. That people that have contributed, because it's not just the celebrities, but one of the most impactful people that I will ever meet has been John Williams, who walked the William Pettis Bridge that was with Dr. Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
I think about, is his name John Williams? Did I say his name?
John Lewis.
John Lewis. Thank you for
Yes.
correcting me. But anyway, John, I don't know where I got Williams from. John Lewis, who walked the William Pettis Bridge, like that was so impactful to me that you would have never told me in a million years I would get the chance to tell him, oh, I appreciate what you've given. I grew up in my salon every day watching the Oprah Winfrey Show religiously. 4 o'clock, Oprah Winfrey. And I would cry. Literally, if there was a day that she was giving something away, if there was some family's life that was changed, like when she
Yes.
was like, they don't know, but we're about to buy. And it's this one particular lady whose sister had died. She had 4 kids. This woman already had like 4 kids or 3 kids of her own. She ended up taking in those kids. It was 7 of them. She was working at a Starbucks. I remember Oprah giving her a house and a van to be able to take the kids. And I just remember that. And you wouldn't ever be able to tell me that this year Oprah comes to the View.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there, and there are a lot of times when certain celebrities come, they really don't want us to interact with them in that way.
Okay.
They don't want us to like bombard them, and I get it. I was making it my business to mind my business.
Yeah.
I'm sitting down and I'm sitting in front of the mirror because there's a monitor up there, and Oprah walks to me, puts her hands on my shoulder, and say, "How are you doing?" And I'm like, "Good." Mind you, I had already went to Whoopi and asked her for a picture,
Yes.
like asked her to make the picture happen. And so Whoopi comes, and Whoopi knows that everybody's gonna want a picture. So she's like, Derick, look, can you do a group picture? Will you do a group picture with everybody? I said, listen, I've met Oprah before. I didn't really get a chance to talk to her though. I've met her before, so I don't have to have the picture. I was just asking it because I really wanted you two in the picture together, Celie and Sophia. Like that was the picture I wanted.
Yes.
So, but I said, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. She was like, okay, cool. So Oprah comes and she's like, "Hey, will you take picture? With that?" She said, "Oh my God, sure." She's like, "Well, y'all want to take it? Y'all want to take it out on the stage?" So we're like, "Sure." So we're walking out, and that's when I get the chance to tell her how impactful she was to my life and
Yeah.
meeting her. Like she sparked a generosity spirit in me to where I don't have billions of dollars, but if you know somebody's hungry and you give them $100 and it's a person that's not in your orbit, someone that does not expect it from you,
Yeah.
it's something powerful about that. You have just changed their life. You have changed that they think that you have imparted into them that miracles come from these random spaces of the least likely. And I always want to be a part of that
Mhm.
aspect of life. Like, yeah, there are friends and family I do give to and people that are close to me, but it's something about blessing someone that doesn't know that I see what they're going through and I help just
Yeah.
because I'm paying attention. And I believe that the same seeds that you sow, God then in turns give you those same seeds back. So
Mm.
I do that intentionally because I need God to do unexpected blessings for me and send people from I don't know where to help me when I'm down and out. Um, so those are the things that and to like move to LA when when it was like, should I move to LA? Guess what? My mom never got to move to LA. You know what I'm saying? My
Yeah.
mom worked in a factory. So I have to do better than what she did. I lived my whole life trying to make sure that she didn't feel like she was a failure as a mother, leaving behind two sons that did nothing with their lives.
Yeah.
So I never smoked weed. I never drank. I finished school. I wasn't great in school. Now, let's be clear.
Mm-hmm.
But I made sure that I did something with my life as a legacy to her because I wanted a reflection of what she left behind.
You left behind.
So so when you ask, yeah, I all of those are people and places that, or well not are people that impact and show up in my life every day, if that makes sense. So yeah. That was a long way around it, but sorry.
No, you went into a space that you felt that.
Oh,
You went into ministry.
yeah.
I have always been curious how, and I'm sure it's not like completely different. But I know there's a difference in how like the people you meet that are on a different level in life and us people that are TV, we see them, right? How is it when you hear that those people have passed? Like, and then you still have to go on about the day and like still do the show. Like, I have always been curious as to how they grieve. Like, how do y'all grieve in the midst of all of that and still having to continue of it? Like John Lewis, for instance, you met him, then shortly after, or
Well, it depends. A
mm-hmm.
person like a John Lewis is a life well lived.
Yeah,
I had the opportunity of randomly meeting Reverend Reverend Jesse Jackson at Melba's here in Harlem. Um, those are people that when they pass, you say well done, and you feel a sense of closure because they've done all that they could do. They lived their life spent. Um, Meaning whatever they had in them, they gave out. I met Kobe Bryant
mm-hmm.
at the show one day. That was a little different because that felt like a life taken. You know what I'm saying? And it felt shifted, and you you felt wow, like that's crazy that he was just here and now he's gone. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was that aspect of it. Um, Yeah, even just recently with Kiki Shepard, I literally went to I've become very cool with Lunel, the comedian, and Lunel had a show at the Apollo. So we go to the Apollo, we see her show, and then later we go to the Renaissance Hotel afterwards, and we're having dinner. Mind you, again, something I grew up on. I grew up on watching the Apollo on Saturday nights at 11 o'clock.
Yes,
So to sit down and see Kiki Shepard sitting here is crazy to me. You know what I'm saying? And so to open my phone the other day and see, oh my God, Kiki Shepard has passed. And she was so, it wasn't no, oh, I'm sick or no, it was like she was bubbly, she was live, she was funny, she was all the things. She was beautiful. She was all the things. She was excited about her career, her acting. She was like, I'm doing this show on such and such. Like she was that person. So you keep go I mean, because I am a keep going person.
yeah,
And then I think for like when I watch Whoopi have to endure different people like um the director that was killed that used to be on All in the Family.
yes.
Like those are people that she's close to, but I think learning from wisdom of like you got to go on. You know what I'm saying? You take the time to be sad, you acknowledge it, but you also keep going. You have to.
That's beautiful. I have always been curious of that because like so many people come into your space. Then, like you said, you look on the phone, you're like, or we was just hanging out, and like you're gone.
Yeah.
No, My goodness. I have another question for you. I like food.
Okay.
Question pertains to food. If you could use food or a meal to describe what someone has meant to you, what food would it be?
Okay. That's so funny. I have a direct my mother, and
Uh-huh.
it's a hot dog. A hot dog with some Lay's potato chips. So
Like, okay, 'cause-
the quick story about that is my mom was a single mother. And my mom, I'll never forget, we had this little grocery store. It was called Vista Foods. And my mom drives there. And it's the acknowledgement of a food that is fun to me anyway. Like grew up loving hot dogs, the whole
yeah,
thing. Like that was a great food to get. But I remember for my mom, it was a survival food because I remember her taking her last dollars, and like you could at that time, that's how far back it was, but like you could get the hot dog buns for like $1.
yes,
You could get the pack of hot dogs for maybe 2.50, and then a bag of Lay's chips was maybe $1.25. And that was our dinner. But my mom had tears in her eyes crying that was what she was feeding us. We're excited because we're getting hot dogs, you know what I'm saying? She's in tears because this is the last she has. I just remember this. I mean, I remember where we were parked. I remember her with the tears in her eyes going in her purse, giving me the $5, going in the store, and we get gathering the stuff, but just how much that hurt her. I don't know. So forever. So when I have days that I want to feel close to my mom, I go and get me a pack of hot dogs. I make homemade chili, and I would get me a bag of Lay's potato chips, and that's my mom day meal. That is my mom. That is my Mother's Day meal.
like that. I love a hot dog. I'm from Connecticut, so I love like
You know what? Can I say something right quick? In
yeah,
your intro package, you was like, "Oh, this could get emotional." I was thinking, I probably won't get emotional because I don't get that emotional. And as much as I went over that whole thing about my mom's meal,
yeah.
that did make me emotional.
It,
Whew, I was not ready. Okay.
the whole point of like this podcast and the questions that I ask are to like know who these people are that are no longer here, and to ask fun questions that you don't think of every day or that people ask. Like nobody's gonna ask you what her favorite meal was.
Yeah.
Um, so that's why I have all of these random questions here, because I think it's important to know those things. Like for me, when I want to be closer to my sister, I'll think about Kool-Aid, but I'm not drinking it.
Why?
I can't too much sugar, but I'll a hamburger helper or some wrap snacks.
Okay. Why the Kool-Aid? What makes you think about the Kool-Aid? What's specific about the
Great. My God, we made Kool-Aid all the time as a kid.
Did
All
y'all
the
have
time.
a specific picture that y'all always made it in?
Yes.
We had a green one and a specific spoon that we did the mixing.
It was a specific spoon. It was a clear mug or what jug or whatever it was. And I remember it having a blue top and you could see like the stir lines in it.
Yep. Oh wow. You taking me back. And the funny thing is my mom was so strict that we couldn't just go in the refrigerator and drink Kool-Aid. Like you drink water. The Kool-Aid was like maybe for dinner. But you didn't just say, "Mom, I'm thirsty. I want a cup of Kool-Aid." Like that's not how it worked in my house. Kool-Aid sat in that refrigerator until it was like champagne. It was a special occasion moment. For real, for real. You did not just grab. You drink water at all times. Kool-Aid, she had to really give you the go ahead to drink the Kool-Aid. Ain't that crazy?
That is crazy because I was in the kitchen as a kid pouring it up.
Mm-mm. But we couldn't do that with any food. Like, you know how kids just be like, "Oh, I want a cookie. I'm gonna go into the pantry and get a like."
Yeah.
We couldn't get anything. Like, my mom rationed out everything. You the only thing like you might could make a piece of toast, Like literally. And so if you wanted, we were being creative. We would make some cheese toast. We make some sugar toast. If you needed it to be a dessert, you put some toast, some butter, sprinkle some sugar on it. If you had cinnamon, you did that. If you was trying to be fancy, if you wanted something a little sweet, but you had to be creative. You could not just go and get cookies and cakes and all the fancy foods out. And we didn't get flavored cereals either. We only had cornflakes or Cheerios, maybe Rice Krispies.
Okay.
Random, right?
Dang. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That that lets me know.
Yeah. I was going to also say in that grieving, because I feel like this has something to do with the grieving process
Hmm.
for me at that age. So with my mom passing, and because my mom was so strict, think why the grieving. And I can't really explain this, and I don't know if anybody will understand it. I've been in therapy and tried to get a grasp on it,
Hmm.
but because my mom was so strict, when she passed, this life of freedom sort of opened up where, you know, I could get flavored cereals because my uncle
Yeah.
didn't care. You know, my mom would actually get me to my uncle would get me to Jordans. And so now mind you, I'm 10.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to process I miss my mother, but also I was getting an allowance now. Like all these things that never, I mean, my mom was not giving me no allowance. My uncle's like, okay, every week you're gonna get $15 a week. And I'm like, $15? It felt like I was rich, you know? It was crazy to me. I don't know how it's I don't like to say it because it feels like I don't know, but it that freedom eased the pain as a 10-year-old. I have to reiterate that. As a 10-year-old, this newfound life that was all this opportunity and felt like what other kids were experiencing because, I could have sleepovers. My mama won't let no other child stay at our house and she won't let you go over nobody else's. Now the kids came over and we spent the night and it was all the things that I never had. So it was a very weird exchange. It was a very weird exchange.
I understand that. There's some things that, like for instance, like this is so random, but like my cat, like last year, and like I was sad about it, but I was like, I don't have to limp roll no more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I miss her, but it's like, now I can just put my clothes on.
Yeah.
So things are different and kind of like easier in a sense. Um, so I understand that. So many different things happen, certain freedom you get. I'm gonna ask you like one more question. I don't want to take up your what is this Sunday?
No worries.
Would you change? Actually, no. I'm not gonna ask you that. I'm gonna ask you this: if you could
You
speak
can ask
to,
me both of them, actually. You can ask me both of them. We got time.
okay, okay, would you change your last conversation or like last words with your mom?
Again, I was 10. I
Yeah.
remember the day very vividly, though, because there was a lead up. Prior to that day, my mom, we did what we always do. We would have the Sears, Roebuck, and J.C. Penney catalog. And so we would look at it to see what we're going to get for Christmas. So me and my brother are circling things that we want so she can put it on layaway and all those things. And so, right, exactly. Can you
And people aren't
imagine?
have any idea what we're talking about. That's what's even more crazy. But go ahead.
Yes. So there's this whole way of like paying a little bit on it so it's waiting for you by the time you have to get it out of layaway, but they making sure you got it so that you. So my mom's like, okay, y'all do that. And my mom's making dinner and she tastes it, and all of a sudden, as she tastes it, her chest hurts. So
Yeah.
she goes through the rest of the afternoon in this excruciating pain. So different people come and they're like, you want some Mylanta? And they was like, you want to go to the doctor? And she's like, no, I think I'm going to be okay. She literally went through that whole night in pain. And the way our rooms were, it was a hallway, but where my bed sat and her bed sat, we looked into each other's rooms.
Okay.
And so I remember looking into the room It's like 6 a.m. in the morning, and it felt like she hadn't slept all night. It felt like she sat there and tossed and turned. And, you know, like I said, in a way, it felt like she knew
Mm-hmm.
because she said, "These are where all my important papers are."
Yeah.
That particular phrase sort of made it feel like she knew something.
Mm-hmm.
And, I don't know. I probably would have hugged her a little tighter.
Yeah.
Um, we weren't really a huge, you know, huggy family, but yeah, I don't know if anything would have. I probably would have hugged her a little tighter.
Yeah. Yeah. We're not huggers over here.
Really? So,
But
do
my
you have both of your parents?
yes, I do. Both of my parents are up in Connecticut.
Okay, and you grew up in a married family?
No, I don't remember my parents ever being together.
Okay, my mom and dad never were either.
Yeah, like I don't remember that, but I remember like my dad was around. Of
Same.
course, he was around. But I lived with my mom. So in Connecticut, you know how the houses are. My grandparents left here, Macon, Georgia, and they went up to Connecticut, bought a home. So like my grandparents lived on the first floor. Me and my mom was on the second. And on the third floor is where most of the family would rent. So like it'd be different cousins living upstairs. So like a lot of people in my family will talk about Sheffield Avenue, Haven.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, I mean I've been surrounded by family. Um, so yeah,
Okay, so my question to you is: did the
yeah.
loss of your sister? Okay, first of all, how did your sister pass again?
So my sister passed, was it 4 years ago? This is the fifth year. She needed to have open heart surgery. And prior to that, my sister was on dialysis
Okay.
from starting in like 2012 up until then.
Okay.
So she needed to have open heart surgery, and so she passed short, like a few days later after that.
Okay.
So it
So
was also,
okay. So my question is: did the loss of your sister bring your family together, or did it cause division?
I feel like it might have caused division on like my father's side of the family, like between my other sisters. But I mean, everybody else is fine,
It's
you
just
know.
interesting how the loss of someone can either bond people or cause people to have no reason to connect anymore because they are that bridge.
Yeah, it's very interesting. At one point, some people, well, my dad's side of the family felt like I really only act like I had one sister, and I was like,
Did you feel like that? Gotcha.
kind of, sort of, because all of my sisters that I have are younger. Like we're 15 and 14 years apart. I have one that's 6 years apart, so like me and her are close. Um, but like my sister that passed, that was my. We were together all the time. We had moved to Atlanta together, moved back to Connecticut. So
That is my one thing that I'm also jealous of. I'm jealous of siblings that are friends.
yeah.
I have an older brother and I
Hmm.
have two younger siblings that my dad's side that I my sister and I are like 10 years apart or like maybe 9 years apart. And then I think my brother and I are like 10, 11 years apart. Now, if I go home, my brother will come to make sure he sees me because I'll go see my father on Christmas, and my
Uh huh.
brother will make sure he'll come and we'll all have dinner together. We don't really talk on the phone in between or anything, but there is this love and appreciation. And my sister, we don't have any bad blood. We love each other, but we just don't have that kind of connection. You know what I'm saying? We did a little bit more so younger, like, oh my God,
Hmm.
and maybe I probably failed her and didn't show up as much as I could as a big brother,
Same.
you know. But me and my older brother that we grew up with the same mother, that we are trauma bonded, but I don't know if we would have a connection at all if it
No,
wasn't for that.
wasn't for that.
Yeah. And even
And
now we're running on fumes. My brother's also on dialysis, and in the last 3, 4, even this last week, he just came out of almost a life-threatening situation in ICU. So it's very interesting, but we've also been completely opposites, and so
Yeah.
it's been very hard to navigate that, you know. Um,
And oh, sometimes you have to. This is gonna sound terrible, but sometimes you just have to take it for what it is, and continue on, and maybe things will be different, or maybe they won't.
but you know what? That's how I felt like I had to do with my mom's passing, or all the people that have passed in my life. I've had to take it for what it is.
Mm-hmm.
What lessons and legacies from their lives can I take to best express what they meant to me, and move forward and try to hope that I can instill something in somebody that when I'm gone, the spirit of who I was lives on through them in some kind of way.
My last question for you is, if your mom could speak to you right now, what she would say?
You know what? I will say what a lot of people that knew my mom. I get a lot of people on my Instagram, really on my Facebook, because Facebook is more people from home. But I will get a every so often, and even from my uncle sometimes, they'll say, "Your mom would be so proud."
Yeah.
And so I think my mama would be like shocked. Like I mean, that is probably what I am probably the saddest about, is that I can't say, my mom coming to the show today, Whoopi. I can't wait for you to meet her. And for my mom to be like, Lord, you know Whoopi Goldberg. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's those moments that, there are those moments that I would, you know, or the times I've been on television and she'd be like, Lord, yeah, Derek, well, But I also, can I be honest? I don't know if my life would have been that had she been here. I
Yeah.
don't know that I would have. A lot of her leaving
Mm-hmm.
was the fuel to my determination. So it's such an interesting. I always say to myself, and I'm always wondering, what would my life be like if she was here? Because a lot of the reason why I took cosmetology was because I was on Social Security because she had passed. They cut you off on your 18th birthday or till your last month of high school. And so I had to have. I'm on my own, so I'm not with no family. So like, you know how people. So I didn't know like Derek, you're gonna go to college. I didn't have those as an option. I needed to know what I was gonna do when they cut that check off because I had to be able to take care of myself. So I took cosmetology in high school. I took my state board. Maybe if school ends in June, in April I've taken my state board. By May, or no, actually I've taken my state board in May. By June they've sent me to I've actually, in that in between time, I went to JCPenney Styling Salon to apply for a job because they had sent recruiters. So I was like, okay, sure, that's a salon I can go into. I'll go there. I then get word that I've gotten my license when after I graduated, I went to the beach for graduation trip. And my brother calls and says, your license came in the mail. JC Penney's had told me to call them when I got my license. I called them from South Carolina because I was at Myrtle Beach. I said, listen, my license came. They said, okay, start next week.
Ooh.
I went into my career and I've never looked back. Would I have done that? Would I have felt the need to go to LA? No. A lot of the stuff, had she been here, would not have happened. Probably not. So I don't even know if I would have even been so comfortable to be a person to do hair. I got to do hair. You know what I'm saying? Like it's so much stuff that I don't know. Has she been alive? So
And that's another beauty in things too. That's wow. I feel the same way. Definitely wouldn't be doing this. I would have no reason to,
yeah,
you know, at least not at this time.
yeah,
So that's great. But like they all say, she proud. You out here doing your so. kudos to you. And I definitely appreciate you taking the time, your schedule.
No, thank you. Thank you for being on me as a person that does content and shows like this. I understand what it's like, and I understand trying to book people and then they being flaky and all the things. So I apologize for not getting back to you sooner. I appreciate what you do. I am encouraged by what you do. Um, this has probably been a blessing to me in more ways than you know.
Yeah,
Um, again, just being face to face with stuff that I probably just overlook, you know. But I'm grateful for it. Thank you so much. It meant a lot to me.
that means a lot. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for that.
No,
Um,
thank you.
So, how you grieving? I want to thank Derick Monroe for sharing his experience with grief, purpose, and legacy, and what it means to continue living life after the transition of loved ones. Conversations like this remind us that grief is not just about absence, it is also about memory, intention, and how we carry people forward. One thing that stood out to me in this episode is just how much loss me and Derek really have in common starting at a very young age up until now. I've lost people throughout my childhood, adulthood, teenagehood, and just knowing that some of our lives probably wouldn't even exist if certain losses did not happen. But if something in this episode resonated with you, take a moment to sit with it, reflect on it, share it with somebody who may need it. And most importantly, take care of yourself even when life is moving fast. New episodes of How You Grieving drop every Sunday at 11:17 a.m. Until next time, how you grieving?